friends. So this is Charlie here from Base Miami, and I wanted to welcome you to our new video series where we'll be discussing everything related to expansion in the US market. And today we have the honor of having my friend, Christine Johnson. She's the Vice President of Innovation and Economic Development at the Miami-Dade Beacon Council. And we'll be discussing with her the Miami tech and entrepreneurial ecosystems and why we think it's the best location for LATAM entrepreneurs to land in the US market. So Christine, thank you very much for being here with us today.
Thank you.
Awesome. So let me start asking you this. As VP of Innovation, you must come across a lot of tech companies considering moving to Miami, right?
Yes.
So what would you say are the top 3 to 5 things that Miami has to offer for tech entrepreneurs or companies?
Yeah, so I think the companies that I speak with, the interest definitely is the global access. You know, we are the gateway to the Americas. That's one of the top opportunities that have been mentioned to me for sure. And that's something that we sell as a high point coming and starting in Miami. Next for sure is the diversity. We look at the multi-languages, multinationals, all of that. So when companies come here, they're global from go. And so much about our ecosystem has to do with leveraging the global economies. So companies that come and have that interest and really that foresight, especially given where the economy is now in the marketplace, they know that Miami is the place to come, and it's a plug and play opportunity to access resources, be there accelerators that are strategically focused on global markets like 500 startups, as well as the Venture City, which is another, that's more of a homegrown accelerator. 500, as you know, is a global accelerator. Mm-hmm. And we also have the resources here to support those from international markets too. So it's like coming home, so to speak. You know, it's really a chance to access those that have the resources to help them become acclimated to not only the market here, but be able to expand domestically. The next one too, I think that's really, of course, the tax breaks.
Yeah.
It's very, very comfortable.
Money. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, you know, I'm from Washington, D.C., so I have to tell you, even seeing my first check here when I started working for an organization, yeah, it makes a difference. So definitely it's, you know, the tax climate is very comfortable for business people as well.
Yeah, we're seeing people coming now from New York and San Francisco, kind
yes.
of escaping the taxations there.
Yes, significantly, especially right now at this time with the COVID virus at this point. So, but to that point too, you talk about those other markets and how we're gaining talent from those other markets, whether they're you know, expanding their company here or just moving here to work from home and work from anywhere. They're coming to Miami because it's just more comfortable. It's a different experience at this time. And of course, the opportunity exists because they're aware, pardon me, they're aware of the local tech and innovation ecosystem and how it's growing. It's really emerging into something that is quite special and unlike any other ecosystem nationally. So you can come here, be a part of it, contribute to the growth, and just be that fish that can come and access resources with ease as well and plug into this ecosystem.
Great. And you know what, you said gateway to the Americas. And do you see companies also, I mean, or I would say most of them, they want to use Miami as their gateway to the rest of the US or as a gateway to Latin America and maybe having their HQ for LATAM in the US?
Yeah, thank you for asking that, because I think we have the LATAM market top of mind, but there's ease of access to most of the global hubs from here. So we're getting that additional traction as well. It's not just for Latin America, although that's one of the tops as far as interest, but it's just so diverse here with so much representation and the opportunity to access other markets, you know, within, you know, reasonable time. You know, you can go to the UK, You can just, and even we have some traction as far as Africa. I think we're looking at identifying that as a point of interest and opportunity as well.
Nice. Okay, and now more on the ecosystem in Miami in the tech space. What would you say are some cool projects that are happening either now or in the near future that you know?
Yeah, so I think that when I think about, especially at this point, so even before COVID, there was energy happening, right? We were showing up in rankings. We had, we brought in, like I mentioned, 500 startups is here. The MIT Co-Creation Lab is here. They launched, I believe it's almost last fall, 2019 as well. So there's we have Endeavor growing significantly, Miami Angels. So there's been a lot going on, but I think now what I'm most excited about is to see the energy kind of build up again. I think we've settled into this, whatever this reality is, for how long it is, and we've been very scrappy. One thing I love about Miami is really what we call that, what is it, the immigrant grit. Just being able to dig deep and make things happen regardless of the circumstances, So it's great to see like the Venture City, which is a homegrown accelerator and fund, and other markets as well, right? So they're starting back up again with their educational programs. I believe they have a product growth program that's launching August 31st or September 7th, actually. 500 Startups is moving into creating programming again and accepting applications. Endeavor Miami, they've been leaning in significantly, especially at this time, alongside Miami Angels and even Trillion Ventures to actually support entrepreneurs right now through mentorship, access to talent, and just really innovative ways of getting things moving towards recovery, leaning in the way that's their specialty. I'm looking forward also to seeing right now, I know the Beacon Council, we have a tech committee, which as you know is pretty active, and we have launched 3 projects in response to COVID. And so one of them specifically deals with the university partners, University of Miami, Florida International University, and Miami-Dade College that have come together to create a cybersecurity workshop series. Nice. So that'll be launching as well in the next few months. We also have, this is 3 subgroups. So the second subgroup actually is one focused on creating new models, new business development models based on data. And that has been led by the lead from strata.ai. Charles Irizarry has been awesome for that. So he's developed, using open source platform, a social distancing tool where you're able to track those within your office space or a public space, wherever there's cameras, that this technology can be integrated to track social distancing protocols as well, as far as those in the space. Yeah, it's really cool. And the other one is called MiamiTech.works, which really focuses on creating a portal to highlight existing programs from code schools, Miami-Dade College, their tech programs, and even Microsoft integrating some of their programs that have a pathway to employment in the tech industry. So it's a website that's been created, and we've had some private sector partners that have really raised their hand, and they're open to having coaching sessions with those interested in learning more about the tech industry. We'll have listings of job postings that are available in Miami as well. So I'm really excited about that. All of this is really talking about moving towards recovery for our community.
Yeah, that's awesome. I just opened the website here while you were talking. I didn't know about that one. Cool.
Yeah, it's just launched last week. So we're working on it. And what's really special about that, Charlie, is that it's a collaborative effort. So
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because, you know, you mentioned immigration grid, then you mentioned academia, like the universities that are involved. Now you're talking about this, and one of the things that I had an interview with Juan Pablo Capello, you know, from Miami Angels, amongst other many things that he does.
Yeah,
And we were talking about Miami, and I said, you know, I think that Miami has this thing about that everybody comes from somewhere else, and there is a sense of community, but also a sense of a need, let's say, for success, for story. You know, we wanna build those success stories so that Miami can position itself as a more mature ecosystem, and the community is there really to support that happening. So that's one of the things that I always tell entrepreneurs, as in, you know, come to Miami because you'll have a family that will, you know, grind kind of with you to make it
yeah,
success.
to grind with you for sure. And I think part of that, because listen, most emerging communities are not the easiest sometimes to navigate. Like, where do you go to find tribe? Where do you go to find the builders or potential investors or team mates to bring on board? But the one thing that about Miami, which I think is very special, is that we are very, it's easy to make those introductions. You don't have to go through 20 different people to get to the person that you need to get to. And what I do is I try to encourage new companies to go where I know there's going to be a massive group. Of course, at this age, we know everything's virtual, but Refresh Miami is like one of the best resources to tell the story, and for new companies to identify where to plug in while they're here. I think that, you know, I know with my experience, excuse me, with everyone, I get a number of introductions to have conversations about the community, and people are kind of passed around as they come here and they're new. So that's been a great experience. And also, I want to say too, what I appreciate about this ecosystem, which I think is very important, is that it's open to growing. It's open to having tough conversations. I think especially like the past few months, it's just been, I think we're not only reflecting as individuals, but we're reflecting as business community members, you know, and identifying where there are gaps and opportunities to engage those that may not be engaged. How do we engage them? How do we support those that have lost jobs? How do we support those that don't have the skills in areas beyond, you know, their employment for 20 years, but now they're not working? How do we engage them in this new, you know, innovation economy? So we have those tough conversations, and we're starting to really look collaboratively for solutions to that, for sure, and be that inclusive community that we really need to be and we desire to be.
That's great. I was talking to a client of ours, and he was telling me how hard this has hit, for example, the airline industry, right? There's like
certainly
thousands of people that lost their jobs, and they're really talented people. They have a lot of experience in the industry. They have a broad network also, because 20 years in the industry gives you. So, I mean, for startups, for example, those are the guys that you want to have around and that you want to have close, because they're the ones that can plug you into those large corporations, to who's who and how to navigate within those companies. So it's, I think that building that bridge, as you said, between the innovation community and these guys that are leaving the corporate world, it's a great concept.
It's perfect. This is the time, you know, this is a tough time, but this is a time for opportunity as well. And just as you mentioned, those skilled workers that have years of experience and knowledge, we have to plug them in. We have to bring them and make sure they're part of this whole digital transformation conversation, you know, innovation equals all of that. And we're the ones to do it. I think that the tech industry, you don't necessarily have to be a coder, you know, a programmer, but there are ways to fit in, you know, be that executive. Or perhaps maybe it's time to try to start something of your own as well. Understandable. It won't be for everyone, of course, but the skill set is essential. And it's not just about getting technical skills. It's really that entrepreneurial mindset and the experience of being in the innovation economy, because business now is the language of business is innovation.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you've noticed, I remember years ago just being in the tech and innovation space on one hand, and then being in like traditional business corporate environments, and there was different language. It's become the same language now. They talk about accelerating. They understand that, right? They understand lean conversation. Like there's certain key words that it's just really interesting to hear, you know, scaling, all of that. It's really a great time. They understand design thinking, all of it.
Yeah, well, I think that they realize that innovation is a must, and it has to be in the DNA of the company if they want to survive. Because if not,
Exactly.
you know, these tech startups are taking the whole world. So, yeah.
What is it? What did everyone used to say all the time, which I'm sure you were tired of too? Innovate or die. You remember that? Yeah. But it's
and now it's real.
It was real, wasn't it? But you know, it's everywhere you went. But I think that something special is happening and can happen right now. But we'd also have to make sure that we're helping our vulnerable populations to be capable, to be a part of what's possible moving forward as well.
Yeah. Nice. And you know what, I mean, as I wanted to ask you this, and maybe it's the last thing that we would cover, but it's for LATAM companies that are thinking and coming to the US to try their luck in this market. What would be the advice that you would give them?
The advice that I would tell them to contact you. That's what I would say.
No,
contact Charlie and Fernando.
Besides that.
Oh, I would say, and wholeheartedly, to get in touch with the Beacon Council, and not just because I work there, but I think there's great value, of course, in tagging us as an organization, because we have a footprint everywhere around the business community, the talent conversation, access to those resources, even the region. It's really about accessing the region as well when we talk about talent and all of that. But we can really help them as far as how to set things up and how to get connected with the right individuals to move them forward. We have such a wonderful and committed network through our members, from attorneys, accountants, brokers, commercial and residential, because when you move here, you're bringing your family as well. We have a research department also. And we also have, which is the most important to share, we have such a great team across the industries that we cover that can sit with them and have conversations about what's happening in the business community relevant to their industry. Of course, I have the most fun because tech is in everything, tech and innovation, so I get to engage with everyone. But all of our committees, aviation, banking and finance, trade and logistics, life science, healthcare, creative, which is very broad, they all work really hard on also innovating within their industries, because it's critical. And they have information to download about the talent. So I would say definitely to do that. And we also, depending on the target city that the company may be interested in, we introduce them to the economic development leads for that city here locally, because it's critical that, you know, we make sure that they have these very local, hyper-local connections to learn about what's going on in the community that they would like to open their doors as well.
Nice. You know that I always, every time that I bring a new company to work with us, I take them to meet with you, because you have a lot of knowledge and context, and well, yeah, you're always open to share all your gifts with all our companies. So I'm very, glad for your support. So
yeah, no problem.
And thank you for being, you were our first guest in our interview series. So I had fun, at least, which is the most important thing.
It wasn't painful. No, so, but thank you. I just really, not just because we're chatting, but I've just really respected how you have navigated things as a business person in the community and contributed. And you know what you're doing with Base Miami is really needed. So we appreciate you and your partnership, and you also help to inform us about the needs of the companies that you're working with, and that's important.
Thank you so much, Christine, for the words, and thank you for being here with us.
No problem.